Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Chaos Zero Nightmare. In today's video, we're doing a showcase of Yuki. At the end, I will have a full playthrough of her in Dimensional Twilight 10, doing a 2-turn clear, meaning she only took 1 turn on either wave. And in this one, we're looking at a very unique build that I managed to get, and a completely broken combo as well that she has with this Forbidden card, which I absolutely love. So I want to go through the build, show you guys the showcase of her, keeping in mind that even though I did pull the dupes, I have not put them into her. And if we go over to her partner, she is still on the level 55 Douglas because I do not have the other ones, and she is still level 55 herself. So I'll go through the build, have a chat about it, and then I'll show you guys the replay at the end. And before we get into it, I do have to give Chaos Zero Nightmare a massive shout out for sponsoring this video. And if for some reason you are not yet playing this game, I will have a link in the description and the pinned comment below for you guys to go ahead and download. But once again, a massive shout out to them for sponsoring the content that I was making anyway. Let's go in and take a look at the build. So if we go to the save data, I went back to Yuki. I'd been back on Hugo for a while, and I was like, no, I want to get a build. So we don't have all the optimal epiphanies, but we do have 3 divines in here. Now, I did this on a save data value 14 run. So that's what allowed me to sort of save so much into it. Now, with this bad boy here, normally we want to get this one with the application. If we go over the cards here, the ones I like most, if we go to epiphany, is generally this one here. Number 4 is my favorite one. It allows you to get 2 if you have inspiration. The next one, number 5, is pretty solid if it's an option and I can't get number 4 because it just gives me another one next turn. Number 3 is okay if neither of those 2 are there, and that's kind of one I never really get 1 or 2. But this one that I actually managed to get in the run, it had the Divine Epiphany, and it had like the universal epiphany of apply vulnerable, and then the Divine gave AP. So now she is very self-sufficient in AP, which allows me to run a lot of card draw with her to make up for the lack of card draw that she actually has in not getting 2 from this card. So it's really damn nice. So I got 2 of that, which both give an AP, which is fantastic. Then the Flash Slash over here is the reduced cost by 2. The Trickery Strike, unfortunately, this hit a Divine. The Agony Divine is really, honestly, makes no difference. I was really shattered when I saw this because I thought it was going to destroy my save data, and it actually stopped me from duplicating this one because I already had the Divine on this one, which I would have been happy just to get rid of that for Agony. But hey, it is what it is. Obviously, we got the Lucky here, and we got the Initiation one. This is the one you always want for Freezing Blade, in my opinion, because it's just reliable to get this up. Iceberg Cleave, obviously, and then, once again, we got this Forbidden card. Now, this one is crazy. The way this works is even when it's in your deck, each time you draw a card from an ability, and it could be any character's ability, this thing is going to reduce the cost. So then when it gets into your hand, it might be down to a 4 cost or something like that already. So this thing is amazing, and then it hits like an absolute truck. And then this one here allows me to search for it and get it from the discard pile. The one catch this is, though, if you have played this card on the current turn, you can't get it back. The wording doesn't allow it when it says discard pile. If it said graveyard like Rin does, it would allow you to, but unfortunately it says discard pile, so it only gets it from the discard pile if it's the turn after it was played. So essentially I can't play this twice in the same turn, unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is. Now, she doesn't have the best equipment on this run. It would have been amazing if on the final boss I had got this one, because this is so huge for her. But unfortunately, you know, you got to play with what you get at the end of the day, and that is what we got. Now, she does ramp up some really solid damage because this one has the morale boost as well, and then this one obviously has the vulnerable, so we can actually stack some decent damage. Now, I do have the 2 basics in there. That's because I was worried about the save file, but honestly, I don't mind having the 2 basics in there. You can see we've only actually got 2 AoE attacks with the Flash Slash and the Iceberg Cleave. However, because this thing does so much single target damage, 1, it makes her a beast in single target damage situations, but 2, it allows me to use the AoE of those 2 abilities and then force the Trickery Strike, Rapid Strike, and Longsword Slash all on a single target, and that will do about as much damage as this on the other target. So by spreading and rinsing through all the cards in your deck with a really good draw engine, you're actually doing really solid AoE damage while still having a ton of single target damage in this build. So really, really love this build. like I said, I just want to jump in and give you guys a quick show of the way it works and the teammates that she has. Now, let's go through the other investment. Now, once again, that's her stats there. If we go to her partner, we've still got the Douglas. He is max duped, obviously, but that's about it. Potential over here, I did put a fair bit of investment. I've still got to go back for the crit damage, the extra crit rate if I want it. I did put some in the unique cards, which I need to go deeper into. You know, common cards, not too stressed about that one. Actually, the common card should actually apply to the forbidden. I've just got to double check that that does. And now this is kind of something that's worth me maybe picking up. I did go all the way into the basics because it just really helps with the runs through chaos, getting that extra basic damage. I'm actually considering picking this one up if I want to go fully invested into Yuki as well, just because it helps through chaos, which is where she really does struggle. And as I mentioned, I don't have any dupes going on, and this is her build over here. So we've got, basically, it's just my Hugo's build. I just stole it off Hugo. Hugo uses agony, so it makes sense, but essentially she's got the attack bonus and the crit bonus, and then over here she's on crit chance, auto damage, and attack. And that's pretty much the gist of the way she goes. But let's jump over into the simulation and just, I'll walk through a couple runs and just show you guys how it works. Now, keep in mind, when I show you this highlight of the 2-turn clear at the end, it took a lot of retries to get a good starting hand and stuff like that. So it's not something that you're going to do every time, but at least we get to take a look. Now, you can see here, I am running the Veronica and Mika. Honestly, I think I could do a lot better even if I remove Mika for Ray, just because in this build that I have for over here, we've got so much AP generation that we're actually kind of fine on AP, so we don't even need the AP from the Mika, but I just haven't gone and built up my Ray yet. I think that would be really good with the draw engine of the Veronica over here. Basically, she's just got her 3 upgrades and then 2 draw cards. My Mika here does have a pretty good draw engine as well. This isn't her greatest build, so this is the one with the gear bags, but it does have this one, which gives us an extra draw and an extra AP at the start of battle, which is why I'm using it. I do have other ones with more draw. We got the source of water as well, so that's kind of what we're looking at over there. So let's jump in, and I just want to show you guys the way it kind of works. Now, obviously, you need an ideal starting hand in both waves to get the 2-turn clear, but let's go ahead and take a look, and then I'll put the replay at the end there. So this is honestly a pretty solid start. Unfortunately, the flash slash is in there as a raw draw, and I can't do much about that. But what we can do is we can go ahead and do our upgrade, because that's going to get us some guaranteed damage, which is nice. We get the gear bag to proc, and unfortunately, we got 3 upgrades. When you're trying to do 2-turn clears, there is nothing worse than having a bunch of upgrades, but hey, it is what it is. These are the builds that I have, so let's go ahead and do a little bit more drawing, and then we draw into 2 more bricks. So unfortunately, this is going to be a showing where we don't really get to do too much, because we do get completely bricked out. But in a general playthrough, this isn't too bad. It's a nice way to go ahead and get those upgrades out of your deck, and then you don't really have to worry about them anymore. So this obviously ain't going to be a 2-turn clear, because I haven't refined these decks to go ahead and do this sort of thing reliably. So what we can do here is we can just throw that out here, and then we can put the deluge up, and that can pretty much, you know, be the turn there. And now we can go ahead and pass turn. All right, here we go. So this is good. So we get to draw that card out. Boom, there it comes. So we get the draw, we get the morale, and we go ahead and get this. And you can see this bad boy. It's already at 2 cost, which is absolutely insane. So now I can use the repose, I can use this. We can use just about anything. So we can go ahead and do this bad boy if we want to. And that's going to give us, hopefully, the surge card. Didn't give us the surge card, unfortunately, so let's go ahead and use the... we're running out of AP a little bit, so we're going to do that. Now we get the draw card, which is really damn nice. So now we got plenty of AP to play with. Now I can do that if I want to, just to start gaining my stacks over there. But as you can see, now we can do this. Draw into the next card. Unfortunately, we raw drawed the iceberg slash. Now we can go ahead and get another draw on top of that with this one. That's just got the wave, so that's not great. I get confused between all my builds, but now you can see how we're getting so much in hand. And now what I'm going to do here is, does he have the weaken? Yeah, so we got the weakens going on over there. So if we go over here, you can see how much damage this bad boy's doing, and that is without doing any crits. So if we go ahead and crit, let's see how that goes. Unfortunately, we only got the 1 crit, but you can see it is doing a decent little bit of damage. And this is where having those basics in there is not a bad idea, because it does let us get that extra bit of damage in there. Because now we can go ahead and do that. Boom, boom. Now we can do this one. Unfortunately, this does not have the inspiration effect, so it's not going to get the extra damage, so we're just relying on the raw damage that it deals. And then we can go ahead and kill with this one, and then that should kill with that one. So that's it, yeah. So, like I said, we kind of bricked on the first one, but you can kind of get the gist of what happens and how much damage she can start ramping through in these types of situations. So this is a really nice one as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get her cards out first, so that they're going to get drawn by it, and then hopefully we can draw some of our other draw or AP cards through there. So now what we can do is we can draw into another one of hers. So let's just go ahead and do that. Boom. Perfect. We get another card. We've got the iceberg, which is really damn nice. So we're on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can do this and we should be pretty fine to get another one. There we go. So now we can go ahead and search this card again. And as you can see, we got some big damage coming out there. So now we can go ahead and use this one, put that vulnerable on them as well, and get the extra draw, which is nice. I've also got this one, which has a draw tied into it as well, so we can go ahead and get another free draw. And there we go. We've pretty much worked through our entire deck, and now we can go ahead and use that one to... we can play this first to get the 2-wave. And we can use the repose to get the rest of our deck out. And this is why, once again, I like having those basics in there. Also, lack of duplications. I got unlucky on the duplications. But essentially, this allows us to get that extra bit of damage, having those basics in this kind of build. And you can see we're at 9 AP as well. So, like, we're not struggling by any stretch of the imagination. Now, this is a nice big hit. That's 450. That one is... So we'll go this one because it's the AoE and it's going to benefit greatly. And remember, this is the one that reduces cost by 2. So you can get even higher out of this bad boy. But let's go ahead there and take a look at the damage. There we go. Nice bit of AoE. And then we can put this one out. Boom. And you guys, you kind of get the damage that she pumps out, and then we can just finish it off with this bad boy, and you can see just boom, 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 and job done. So that was obviously a 3-turn clear. Once again, that is the basic principle. I love that card, the 9 Costa, the Forbidden card. It is absolutely amazing for that stuff. Once again, you can see how you do need to do retries to try and get it to the ideal situation where you draw through your entire deck, but that is the general idea. Once again, I do think I would like to go with Ray in the team. I think Ray could just give us that higher damage amp because we don't really need the AP generation that Mika provides, because as you saw at the end, we were sitting on 9. Like, we were absolutely swimming in it. But that is the next thing I will experiment with. Once again, if you don't get the AP build, like I got lucky on that Divine Epiphany, then I like the idea of Ray and Mika if you get the more of the draw options on your Yuki, because then she can draw more of her cards more efficiently. But hey, that is the build. That's a bit of a play that I've been having with, and I will leave that 2-turn clear at the end here.
ちゃんと見てなさい。うちに肩慣らしといこっかな。うちのバ感謝しなさいね。打ちましょう。せーの、準備完了。壊れスピーカー。これでいいですよね。落ち着いて。集中集中。うちに肩慣らしといこっかな。力になってみせます。慎重に。元気が出ましたか。打ちましょう。このベロニカには夢があるんです。引きちぎってやる。うちに守ってもらえてじっとしててね。バット、うちのバットちゃんと見届けなさいね。バットバット、準備できます。触れ出せ。うちに守ってもらえて嬉しいよね。うちのバットちゃんと見届ける。うちに守ってもらえて嬉しい。うちのバットちゃん、うちにバット、見事な攻撃でした。うちのバット、役に立ちましたか。準備でき、元気が出ましたか。落ち着われスピーカー。これでいいですよね。打ちましょう。集 うちに守ってもらえて嬉しいよね。引きちぎってやる。うちのバットちゃんと見届けなさいね。慎重に。うちに守ってもらえて嬉しいよね。ふっ、バット、うちのバットちゃんと見たじっとしててね。バット、うちに守ってもらえて嬉しいよね。とっ、逃げられるかな。ああ、もう捕まったね。
So that is it for the Yuki Spotlight, guys. I'm going to keep cooking her through the Chaos mode, trying to get different AoE builds that I was actually aiming for before I hit that one. Also, I want to work on a single target build, ideally using this forbidden card and maybe speccing into the single target flash slash. I feel like that could have a lot of utility in it for the single target aspect. But if you guys do have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. And once again, a massive shout out goes to Chaos Zero Nightmare for sponsoring this video. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.